Welcome to episode 6 of the Filmmaking Through Music podcast. I am your host, John Wader, and my mission is to help filmmakers like yourself achieve a more commercially appealing film through the effective use of original music and scores. At the end of the day, I want you to have a more successful film, whether that's festivals or distribution. And in this episode, we're going to be talking through library music and licensed music as it relates to the score for your film. And more importantly, why this might be something that you want to avoid. And so I bring up this topic and I tread lightly because I'm not naive, because I do know that you can license instrumental music and have it be used very effectively in film. But there's just a couple items that you might want to be on the lookout for, or red flags when you're looking to use library music, stock music, those types of things, instead of having something custom made for you. I definitely want to put out that this doesn't really apply when it comes to vocal songs, right? Any song that has lyrics or a vocalist, kind of a different category, as those songs are used for typically different purposes for the audience's experience in your film. And so those kind of red flags that I want to talk about, and there's really 5 that I want to address here at the get-go, is that 1, remember that when you're using library music, stock music, whatever you want to call it, in your film, instead of hiring a composer for custom music, you're using music that is too easily accessible for anyone in the world, right? Anyone can have that piece of music in their film. So that alone should really tell you about the importance of a film composer creating custom music for you, because that music is yours. It doesn't exist in this world without your story, your film. It's perfectly created and aligned to your story and your film, and no one else can use it for the most part, right? And so when going to libraries and when going to subscription services for music, just know that anyone else can take that music and they can put it in their film as well. And all of a sudden, you don't want to see your film with the same exact music of somebody else's film. It just kind of takes away from that sort of that uniqueness to your film. Secondly, with stock music, with library music, there is a tendency that it can lean a little bit more commercial or corporate or repetitive, again, because it's created for those purposes of accessibility, and it's created for those purposes of general use, right? It's not narrative bespoke to your project. And thirdly, because the stock library type music is so commonly used in those corporate or commercial projects, when you start pulling those into a narrative film or like a documentary film, you kind of start overly editing to that piece of music, because that's how that piece of music was meant to be used. And so then you kind of feel like you might be editing like an ad or a commercial instead of this narrative and emotional story. Kind of relates to the temp music episode that will be coming out after this one. I'm recording these in reverse, however, but we'll talk in next episode 7, about how with temp music or any music that you're starting out early on, you might overly edit to it. 4th red flag here is control, right? You have no control over that piece of music. The song is the song. And so if there's 1 second off, nothing you can do about that. However, when you're composing, when you hire a composer to create custom music, you have so much more flexibility on your project. If a half a second is off, you can edit that, you can fix that. I'm sorry, you don't edit that. You have your composer rewrite that half a second to make sure it's working properly. And that 5th piece, which ties in a little bit to numbers 2 and 3 about sort of that commercial, corporate, or sort of like advertisement type music. Library music is made for a specific goal in mind. I don't know what that goal is for every piece of music, but the goal is not your film. Right? Think about that for a second. You want music, you want performances, you want shots, you want scenes that are all tailored for your story. Why not music continue to be part of that? Why would you not let music continue to be part of that complete originality and custom approach to your specific story? Thank you so much for continuing to support this early podcast. This is episode 6. I have episode 7 already recorded. That'll be coming out right after this one, all around temp music and temporary music. And please feel free to continue to leverage the film scoring guide for filmmakers, for directors. That is for you to get the exact process and approach that I'm using when I create custom music for films. Thank you so much again for listening. Happy filmmaking.